The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil. I wasn't going to do it, and then you said it, and then I said it.
And you had to.
I tried to play it cool for about 2 seconds, but if you guys are watching the video, the moment he introduces the show, I start giggling like an idiot. So it's chances of this being sophisticated in any way, shape, or form are
nil, which is weird because the last one we did of these was like 2-3 weeks ago, right? I mean, like,
and it was certainly Masterpiece Theater. I mean, it was really, it was on a level of, Andy, when was the last time we did a Second Breakfast podcast? Genuinely, was it 4 years ago?
It was in a different decade. But yes, I think I know. Again, you know what?
These are the jokes, people.
These are the jokes. They can't all be gold. Yeah, I want to say 2016. Oh, no, wait.
We might have tried to do one once I moved to Cincinnati, but I don't know that we did.
We did Project Throneway and then aborted.
We did do an episode
very, very quickly, but sort of the overarching, like the archetypal Second Breakfast podcast. It's been years. Like
years.
Yeah.
Friends, new friends, and people who don't know what we're talking about. Andy and I used to do a podcast. There was a point where we were doing them 5 days a week. And you can find them all online still on secondbreakfastpodcast.org or .com, I suppose.
.com.
.com. And there's a Facebook page as well. And you can go back and listen to all sorts of stuff we talk. It's just Andy and I talking about movies.
Yeah.
Andy
and look, here's the deal. They're all awesome is the thing. Like, I mean,
they really are.
Like,
we need to get to the real reason why we're bringing this back.
Because the world is ending in a dumpster fire and we're all stuck inside the house with nothing else to do?
I think that's what helped facilitate this, but it's not the reason.
Fair enough.
Right?
Please.
Well, no, it's because I missed talking to you while looking at myself on a screen for an hour.
True.
So that's the reason. The thing that facilitated that was the end of the world, blah blah blah, that stuff, the apocalypse.
Right. And we're
all gonna die. That thing.
Yes, no, totally. Just so everybody knows who is watching this on video rather than just listening to the podcast. I've got Phil and myself next to each other on my screen. I've got like my notes on a second screen up here.
Do you really?
I do. So just know that like I will never be looking into the camera. I'm doing it now, and it will never.
Just so you know what it looks like, and then don't ever think.
This is what it looks like when I look at it.
I think, as you know,
I
like to have my notes analog.
I know.
Printed out, written out.
Yeah.
Like an old salt.
Oh my God.
That old so-and-so Phil and his printed out paper.
But I've been out to sea a long time. Yeah.
I'm back and I'm ready to do a podcast.
There we go.
So you and I are both we're staying at home.
Mm-hmm.
We're saving lives, people. This is why we're doing it. And
Phil.
Yeah.
You're a hero. You the real MVP.
Listen, I don't want to say I'm a hero. But if the shoe fits.
Yep.
No, we're staying home and saving lives, and we love, and for those of you who have missed us or don't know, we do talk regularly, but we've had this time, but we're both very, very acquainted with sitting in front of a computer and talking now at this point, like we're really all about it. And a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast, Josh, sent us a question on Facebook that was a movie question. And I was like, this is not a question that I should be answering online. This is a question for Second Breakfast Podcast. And it was like the beacon was lit. Gondor called for aid. And we had to get there as soon as we could.
And you know
Andy,
what?
I didn't tell you the sad part.
Rohan will answer. That's it. You know?
And Rohan will answer. Expect Lord of the Rings to be discussed today.
It's true.
Because we're nothing if not topical.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. Just wait for my entire riff on desperately seeking Susan.
I do have a single white female joke coming up later. Be ready.
I can't wait. This is great.
Not as old as Desperately Seeking Susan, though. Oh man. Okay. Hold on. Lock it down.
Yep.
So the thing is that I didn't tell you this part. So I messaged him because I knew we were going to do this,
Mhm.
and I messaged him and I said, I'm not going to answer your questions, your Facebook questions to me about movies on that forum, just like not right now. Thinking he'd be like, something's coming. And
Right.
he was like, I understand. Like, I know it's a lot of questions. Like, he was like apologetic. And I was like,
Right.
oh, buddy, no, you're inspiring us to do a podcast.
Oh, this went wrong. Right. Nice.
Haven't talked to him since. He's been crying. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Okay.
What do you want people to know who haven't been with us for a while or who have never been with us? What do we want them to know before we jump into what we're going to do today?
Priest and a Jew talk about movies.
A priest and a Jew talk about movies. Accurate. There's one thing I want to say.
Please.
So when Andy, first of all, two middle-aged white guys starting a podcast. Got it. There's a reason why it didn't take off. It's fine.
Yeah,
we know. Yeah. And we know we're basically doing this for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just know right out of the gates, we have no inclination to say anything important. Here's why we do what we do when we do it. We love the idea. Andy and I went to college together, and in college, whether or not you liked something mattered, but whether or not you liked something was only the beginning of the conversation, not the end of the conversation. Especially when it was about something really important like pop culture. It was about something like life ending and world creating like movies. Andy, when you pay attention to what, and I don't think what we do is film critique. I think we just talk about movies, which is different. When you think about traditional film critique, your experiences, the goal is to find out if they are like the person who's writing or talking is basically getting to the point where they're then going to tell you, yes, you should see this, or no, you shouldn't. That the goal is to review and then to evaluate for the purposes of like consumption. Is this for you or not? Like thumbs up, thumbs down is the obvious one that we all know about.
Sure.
And I think what Andy and I really want to do and have wanted to do and love doing is like whether or not it's a thumbs up and thumbs down. First of all, is it's not just subjective. It's like could change day to day. I mean, I watched a movie the other day. I told Andy that I was loving it and hating it at the same time. I would have no idea how to quote unquote give that movie stars or numbers or thumbs or whatever.
Right.
But I want to talk with Andy about that movie for an hour. And so like and so that's what we used to do in college. We've been out of college for 19 years. Because we're old.
Sure. Accurate.
But I mean, I think the goal for us is we just like to talk about movies because whether they're good or not is actually secondary to good or not by the definitions of like a rating system. To me is secondary to the fact of like what they bring up in us, what they make us wonder about, what we think about, what they symbolize, what's happening in our heads, what memories they're attached to, the way that they affect our lives, whether or not they're a thumbs up or thumbs down. I just think whether or not it's considered good or great is actually secondary for you and me. And when we talk about movies, to just like the joy of thinking about what happened when we watched it and how and what the story that was being told was.
I think that's right, and I'll go further. I think that not only are you right, I think there's an aspect of it that is literally about the talking of it. We are both, excuse me, we are both social people. We're both extroverted, and yet watching a movie is a very sort of solitary experience, even if you're watching it with someone else, because talking over it is a capital offense. Let's be honest.
Well said.
And so this is everything that Phil just said is true, and I agree with it. And I think there's also this aspect of like, this is part of like sharing movies with each other, and this is part of processing them. And what my hope is, and I think I can speak for Phil here, is what we hope by talking about these movies with each other and sort of creating that communal experience between ourselves. If you enjoy the podcast and you enjoy what we're talking about, then we're creating that communal experience as much as possible with you as well.
I love it. And I love you talking about communal experience. And it reminds me of like the other reason why we were never successful. Is that we like totally love each other and enjoy the same things. And a lot of the times we're not disagreeing with each other. And like like it'd be super sexy if it was like Andy and Phil disagree on everything, but somehow they've managed to pull this podcast off.
Right.
And
You're
there's
like,
no rivalry. We're like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Right.
if we were like the James Carville and Mary Madeline of
right.
discussion. Right.
Which we all know which one I would be, sadly. But anyways,
you know what, Phil? I agree. Unfortunately.
Dang it.
No, right.
One last thing before we start.
Yes.
I now have 3 children quarantined at home with me. The chances of you all hearing from them at some point during this, and I don't mean that in a cute way, like, ooh, it's going to be cute. It's going to be awful.
Sure.
And you're going to hear from them at some point during this. And it's going to be terrible.
I have like 0.97 children.
Is that a crib in the background?
It is. It is. I have like 0.97 children. I'll be honest. The chances of you hearing from my child are pretty low. I mean, they're pretty low, right?
If it happens, this is going to be a very memorable podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you could get your wife to give birth while we're trying to record this, I think people might watch it.
Phil, she so rarely listens to me, and she's right.
She's right behind me, isn't she? All right. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So Phil got these questions from Josh Edwards, and they are great. Shall I?
Always, please.
Okay. So basically, he said to Phil, Quarantine Film Festival, here are a bunch of genres, and I mean a bunch, and you can only pick one movie per genre. What do you got?
Yeah.
And so Phil and I talked about this, and I added a wrinkle, and Phil has added his own wrinkle after that, which he'll tell you about. But my wrinkle was I had to. Now I will talk about any movie that sort of fits into the genre, any movie at all that I love.
Right.
But so I have sort of nominees, but then I have a winner, right? I have the movie I'm choosing per genre, and for that movie, I am only choosing from movies that I own. Now, it doesn't have to be in a physical copy, although most of them are. It can be on digital. But basically, my thought process was I want to choose movies that either make me really make me feel free because I'm in quarantine, or like the Blues, I really lean into that feeling of confinement and hopelessness. But also, what if I'm quarantining at, I don't have one, but what if I had a cabin on the lake with no Wi-Fi, right? So streaming is not an option. Right, so that's where I'm coming from with these. That's my sort of mental rubric as I was constructing this. Phil, what is your?
Well, I followed the same path because of you, and the reason was we could have just picked movies of every genre that we liked, and I reached out to Josh for a little bit of direction, and he fittingly gave me none. But I say that no, but it was like he was like, no, however you want to interpret the question is fine. But because we could have done like, what is a quarantine themed movie for each genre, or what is a movie that would work? And some of my choices bear in mind the fact that we are in the situation we're in.
Yes,
others are not. But if I just picked, I didn't want to just pick best movie in each genre. And I was sort of like, I need some direction. So I talked to Andy and I was like, how are you doing with this? And you were like, oh, well, I'm gonna limit it to movies that I own.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. Now I did add an extra wrinkle, which is, as I've mentioned, I have 3 children at home with me. And so a lot of these movies are impossible to watch when they're around. So I have made a bizarro list as well. I have made my list of the movies that I choose. And then I have my list of the movies that if the kids are in the room, I will choose. So I have 2 lists, the grown-up quarantine film fest and the family film fest.
Is the family film fest just like Moana over and over and over again, or Frozen 2?
Strangely, I didn't pick Moana for anything on this list. And I feel bad saying it because Moana's amazing.
Lovely in every way.
But
lovely in every way.
We'll see what I picked. How do you want to do this?
Let's dive in. Okay, so our first. Okay, I'm just going to run through all of these genres because it's insane. All right. Western, monster movie, fantasy, action, thriller, horror, drama, science fiction, science fantasy, comedy, musical, romance, sports film, war film, animation, black and white, and guilty pleasure.
It's insane. It's an
Gosh,
insane list.
you're awesome. Get off. I'm just okay. I love you. I love you for this and for any and many other reasons, bro. Take up knitting. Okay. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? How do you want to do this?
Should we do each of us per genre?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. I think
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andy, what's your Western quarantine film?
Here are my Western nominees. I'm just gonna say very, very little bit about each of the nominees, and I'll say more about the winner.
Oh boy.
Unforgiven.
Ooh.
Mostly because it's just got this such a lovely sort of like. First off, I don't have to justify
This
this.
is one of the greatest films of all time. No big deal.
But one of the reasons that it makes it great, it's so much about that sort of feeling of loneliness and of aching and all of that stuff. Shane, mostly for the loneliness of the last shot.
You own Shane?
What do you say?
You own Shane?
I don't. So it is. So I will tell you, it is not my winner.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
Magnificent Seven, because it's impossible not to have fun watching that movie. Just
100%.
the original. I have not seen the remake. I'm sure it's fine. The
It's
original is
lovely.
one of the greatest movies of all.
Yeah.
Silverado.
Silverado's close.
Yeah. Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tombstone.
Yeah, you don't. Our generation, you don't even need to explain. If our generation is like Tombstone. Oh yeah, of course, Tombstone. Right.
Right. And my winner.
Okay.
High Noon. High Noon. And I'll tell you why. For those who don't know.
I haven't seen it since college. Tell me why.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's Gary Cooper as a sheriff in a small town. It is the archetypal, like the good guys are like impossibly pure and white-hatted, and the bad guys are impossibly evil. And the storyline is this. It is 10:30 in the morning. At noon, a train arrives with the bad guy. The main bad guy and the rest of his gang is waiting for him at the train station, and they are coming to kill the sheriff.
Yep.
And what's great about it is it's great.
Right.
It happens in real time. So
Right.
constantly the movie is and the entire plot of the movie is him walking around the town saying, "Hey guys, can you help me with this shootout that's coming so that I don't definitely die?" And everyone's like,
No, we can't.
"Look at the time. Oh gosh."
And they're all like, "We like you." It's not that we don't like you.
I have so many emails to catch up. Like
Right.
it's just like,
Yeah.
and it just and the real time aspect just ratchets up the tension and also keeps it grounded. And frankly, that seemed pretty reminiscent of the world that we're living in. And also Grace Kelly as a beautiful Quaker and his wife, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's my winner.
Can you imagine being a studio exec and being like, Grace Kelly as a beautiful Quaker? Sold. Green light. Right? First of all, if I owned it and I don't, my pick would have been Howard Hawks' response to High Noon.
Rio Bravo.
Nice. Howard Hawks watched High Noon and said, what kind of BS movie is this where the main hero just walks around whining to everybody and asking for help and everyone says no? He says, I'm going to make a movie where the same exact scenario, but the hero wants no help and people have to convince him. And it's like, what is it? It's John Wayne and Dean Martin, Walter Brennan, and
not for nothing. If you picked, I don't know either of these men, but if you picked two movies that more represented their personalities, I can imagine this and Gary Cooper and this and John Wayne.
So that would have been my pick, actually. I don't own it.
Nice.
I got really close with Django Unchained.
Sure.
Really close with Django Unchained, but in the end, I also, is it going to make an appearance later? And I also, my initial pick was Seven Samurai, which of course is Japanese.
I love you.
But you said Magnificent Seven, which is based on Seven Samurai.
Yes.
And most Western movies are, it's the best Western I know of, and it's a samurai movie in Japan, which is this artsiest, fartsiest, schmartsiest thing I could say.
Oh my God.
But I didn't pick it.
Okay.
My pick is True Grit. The Coen Brothers, True Grit.
I love it.
Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Haley Steinfeld, just an amazing, amazing cast. Barry Pepper, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
The Coen Brothers are my favorite filmmakers,
Mhm.
and this is in my top three or four Coen Brothers movies. Like it's always in the conversation. I watched it a couple months ago by myself before any of this went down, and just sat there and I was crying at the opening credits because I'm like that about this movie,
Yeah.
and I want to watch it again. I love True Grit,
It's brilliant.
and it's like I think it's a Western that likewise Westerns have the capacity to like go out into the wilderness, and so you get to know fewer characters, but you get to know them better, which is sort of what's happening in my life right now.
Said. Well
Right?
said. I like that. Is that both
True Grit.
or
So here's the problem. I don't own any Western movies for kids. So this is the one I'm starting off with not actually having an answer for this one, and I'm embarrassed
Sure.
about it for the kids. If the kids show up, Rango is streaming, which is meh, but it's okay.
Sure.
And Fievel Goes West is streaming, but I don't own it. But
Back to the
the
Future 3?
oh, that's a good choice. But I haven't shown them the other ones. And Back to the Future is not as much a family thing as you recall.
Oh, we actually
There's a whole lot of profanity
it's true.
and sexual innuendo that also happens to be an incest sexual innuendo in that family entertainment.
Isn't it? Isn't all of it though? Really, Dr. Freud. Anyway,
Andy, hey Andy.
Yeah.
No,
it's not. No,
No.
that is an inaccurate statement, and you're wrong. Yeah, yeah, it's
don't
true.
ever say that again. All right.
No, Phil.
Okay.
Get your damn hands off.
Get your damn hands off her.
Okay, moving on. Sort of stunningly, I only have 2 nominees for this. I have The Host, which is your favorite Korean director and mine, Bong Joon-ho,
Yeah.
doing a monster movie that is utterly not reminiscent of like Godzilla or any of like the archetypal monster movies. It's wholly its own. I mean, of course, it borrows from the tropes, but it's really wholly its own thing, and it is glorious. I highly recommend it. Make sure you're not finding the weird sci-fi romance movie that's based on a book by the woman who wrote Twilight, which is also called The Host.
Mhm.
Different thing. But it is super great. It's funny, it's scary, it's dramatic, it's moving, it's wonderful. But my other nominee and my winner is Jaws. Because Jaws,
Andy.
it is one of the best movies ever made. It is legitimately a monster movie.
Oh, Andy.
Thank you. And this is what I always say when I talk about it. It is a movie about a giant man-eating shark, and the 2 best scenes in the movie, almost inarguably, are conversations that take place around a dinner table. Like it is just.
You got me.
If you are thinking of Jaws and all you can think of is "ooh, big shark," you have not seen it recently enough. It is stellar in every way. Spielberg.
You got me. You got me.
There you go. There you go. That's my.
I feel like this is why I quit. I'm not good at this. I'm terrible at this.
You are not. You are not.
Sigh.
Hit me.
Aliens.
Love it.
I know, but I love your choice. Aliens is my monster movie. It's there's so many monsters.
There's so many monsters.
And there's so much killing of the monsters.
Game over.
Game over, man. If my kids walk in the room, Aliens ceases to be the the monster movie, however, and we watch Monsters Inc.
Yes, you do.
We have watched both Monsters Inc. and Monsters University, which I have stipulated many times is highly underrated. The Monsters University is during this quarantine. So Monsters Inc.
Love it.
The very definition of a monster movie. Andy, it's in the title.
It's true. Wait. No, that's true. That's accurate.
Yep. Okay, good.
I have to check it.
Phil, I'm skeptical, but that checks out. All right, Andy, the next category is fantasy.
Yes. Shall I? Would you like to?
Oh, no, I think you should.
Okay. The Goonies.
Oh, wow.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Sure.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, gosh, good call.
The Never-Ending Story.
Yep.
My winner,
Oh gosh, it better be.
it's The Princess Bride. You wanted me to say Goonies. You wanted me to say Goonies. I know you did.
No, I thought you were gonna say one you hadn't said before, like you did in the other things.
Oh, it's well, I gotta throw you a curveball. No, it's.
I mean, Princess Bride is fantastic.
Here is why. This is for those moments in quarantine when I want to go back to my childhood, because this is the movie that taught me what non-animated fantasy could be. It taught me that, and literally at any age, I anticipate as a grandfather, I will identify with Peter Falk even more than I do now. Literally at any age, it holds up. It holds up more than 30 years later. It is a perfect movie. There's a shortage of perfect movies in this world. It'd be a pity to ruin this one. There you go.
Well done, Andy. Well done. By the way, you made me realize something, that I was a cynical, grumpy kid that actually got mistaken for Fred Savage in public. And so I totally identified with the Fred Savage character. Nice. And the older I get, the more I'm totally becoming the Peter Falk character.
There you go. There you go.
Like kids, I'm like, you don't want to, you seem very upset. Maybe we should take a break.
I don't know if you can hear the lawnmower in the background.
I can't. Can you hear the kids talking in the background?
No.
Oh, well then.
We live in a gilded age. Go for it.
Gilded age.
Yes.
Unless this shows up for you later, I'm shocked you didn't say it for this. And maybe you'll quibble with me putting this in this genre. Lord of the Rings. Why are we even here?
Sure.
What?
Sure.
Like, and when I say why are we even here, I don't just mean that we named our podcast after a Lord of the Rings reference. I mean, why are we on Earth? Some would think that because I'm a priest, I'd say Jesus. They'd be right. I am a professional. But a close second is Lord of the Rings. My God. And by the way, I literally wrote down Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. Which if people are like, which is the only way to watch it, but also if people were like, well, which movie of Lord of the Rings? I'm like, no, Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And they're like, but which one? I'm like, no, Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. And they're like, that's like 10 hours of film. And I'm like, it's 13.
Good talk.
Good talk. Now you understand me. Right. I watch that all the way through once a year, and I haven't done it yet this year. And you'd think this would be the time to do it. But I'm actually like pretty busy with work online and then the kids. So it's nonstop.
Honestly, Phil, spoiler, while of course I was thinking about Lord of the Rings and it almost made it in to many of these categories, spoiler, I don't mention it. It's not any of my answers. And the reason is twofold. One, I'm totally with you. I would watch only the extended edition, and it is and I would watch it at once. But the problem with that is that's hard to do these days. Like it's just hard to do. So
you disgust me.
I know. And yet we're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Well, the kids aren't ready to watch. I'm gonna just keep moving on. I have feelings.
I know.
None of them are good.
It's not that I don't care.
It is. Okay, fair enough. I want my kids to watch Lord of the Rings. Actually, one of the things that's killing me about this quarantine is if it weren't for their ages, 3, 6, and 9. And Paige actually at 9, you and me talking, she's totally ready to be able to watch them. I want her to read the books first.
Sure.
So we just started The Hobbit. I'm not even going to tell her there are Hobbit movies because I don't need her to know disappointment on that level this young. Nope. Okay. But so if my kids walk in the room and it's fantasy time, it's Onward. Which you're thinking, Phil, do you actually own that? Yeah, I own Onward, even though it's free on Disney Plus, because 2 weeks before it came out on Disney Plus, it was to purchase on Amazon Prime. And that was the very first weekend of the quarantine. And I was like, I'm not even taking any chances. We're buying this for $20. Let's move on.
There you go. Yes.
Onward is a phenomenal movie. It's a fantasy. Did you end up enjoying it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you had.
No.
Oh gosh, I keep keep thinking that you're not a disappointment. And then that's on me. Like at some point me being just like me forgetting what a disappointment you are. Like that's on me. So I want to apologize.
Bill, I know it's on you.
All right. Well, okay. The next category is action, Andy. I know. The next category is action. It's your action choice, a movie you own. Yep. A movie you own, Andy, for your quarantine film fest.
All of these are
Yeah.
movies I own.
Oh,
Die Hard, First
Yes.
Blood,
yes.
The Raid,
Oh, I know. I've still never seen it, and you've told me about it. I know. I gotta see it.
It's so good. The only disappointing parts are the 7 seconds in the movie where someone's not getting punched. Like, it
What's
is
wrong with you guys? How did you let
crazy.
that
It's
happen?
like, why are we breathing? Why are we breathing? Keep punching. And Leon the Professional.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
I really wanted to go. I was like, ooh, Leon the Professional. It's so good. But I'm going with Die Hard. Why make this thing complicated? There's no reason to get.
That's part of the thing with this is like, let's not overcomplicate this. But I want to say something about that, right? So one of the things that's happening in this quarantine that we're all experiencing is like this thing underneath. It's like I'm just going to go with the thing that makes me comfortable right now.
Yep. Yes. Well said.
I really am not kidding when I say, when we come out of this, are we going to have a whole generation of people who are just like, I'm just not wearing uncomfortable pants ever again?
Oh, if we're lucky.
Like, really though, I realize that the only reason I put on pants that are not super comfortable all the time is because I feel like I'm supposed to. Like, it's not like there's some moral imperative.
It's true.
To wear uncomfortable pants.
I think it's adorable you still wear pants at all.
Thank you. You know what? A man's got to have standards.
Right? Apparently not, because nothing's going on down here.
So my fair enough. This was there's a lot of directions we could have gone with this.
Sure.
I went Lethal Weapon 2.
Love it.
I have the Lethal Weapon series.
Thematic immunity.
It's just been revoked.
Yeah. Oh, so good. It's so good.
Everybody's good in that movie.
Literally everyone.
It brings on Joe Pesci shows up. Yeah. The whole bit.
Everyone is good in that movie.
Yeah. All right. So Lethal Weapon 2. All right. If the kids walk in, I can't watch Lethal Weapon 2.
Not any 90-second period of it. Not any consecutive 90 seconds.
Do you know what action movie we can watch, Andy?
What's that?
The Iron Giant.
Oh, that is lovely.
Yeah. And my kids love it.
Well, you raised them correctly.
Yeah. Yes, that's accurate.
Like, in case, guys, second breakfasters out there, if you didn't know that already, there's your proof right there.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Great. Moving on to Thriller.
Yeah.
It's just the music video for Thriller. No.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over again. I love Vincent Price and Michael Jackson. Yes, Thriller. So mine are Rear Window.
Yes.
Because it's about a dude trapped in an apartment and looking out his window. And also it's thrilling and terrifying, and Alfred Hitchcock and Jimmy Stewart is at their absolute best. Get Out. Out.
You own that? You own that? Oh, I forgot. This is your nominee category. You don't necessarily.
In fact, I do. It's not my winner, but there you go. Misery.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Take a nap.
Right. And Old Boy, the original Korean movie.
Goodness gracious.
Yes, and my winner is Old Boy. It is a Korean film where a man is kidnapped for seemingly no reason and kept in confinement in an apartment that is functionally one room for 15 years. Hashtag relatable content.
Hashtag relatable content.
It is also it is thrilling. It is intriguing. It is emotionally moving. It is horrifying. It is all of the it is all of the things. It is all of the things in the same way that The Princess Bride is all of the things, just with a much darker tinge to it. But it's a stellar movie. Spike Lee did a great job with the remake. I think everyone was good in it.
Just didn't need a remake.
It just didn't need it.
Literally just didn't need it.
Yeah, it's
I saw it. You made me watch it. I saw it back in our old Second Breakfast days. I saw it, and it's phenomenal. That's not Bong Joon-ho, right?
Chan-wook Park.
Okay, that's right. Okay, thank you. You said my movie. I picked Rear Window. I own it. I own it. It's amazing. When you were like, one of my nominees is Rear Window, and I was like, you son of a. And it's everything. I mean, Jimmy Stewart's one of my favorite actors. It's Hitchcock. It's a guy stuck in his apartment. Yeah, and it's a thriller. How do you make a movie that tense where nothing happens?
It's true. It's true. Like
Hitchcock does it. He's like, I could do that.
Like that might be my first question for Hitchcock. Were I able to interview him?
How do you make a movie where nothing happens and it's terrifying?
And yes.
And also easy to watch. That's what's strange, right? Like a lot of thrillers are like, oh, I don't know if I can watch that again.
Sure.
Right? Like I'm actually not chomping at the bit to watch Old Boy ever again.
It is
right?
It is not always an easy
The
watch.
movie I would have put as my number one if I owned it, has nothing to do with quarantine. It's Bridge of Spies. I want to watch Bridge of Spies all the time.
Nice.
I love it so much.
I may have still gone with Old Boy, but I don't actually own Rear Window. So it might have those absolutely would be the two. Was that as much as I love
Of course, Rear Window wouldn't make a lot of sense to children, Andy.
That's true.
So if they walked in, I'd have to change the channel to Kubo and the Two Strings. Yeah, gotcha. Literally terrified my child, but like in a way that he was like, my 6-year-old was like, this is terrifying and I have to keep watching.
It is. That's Leica, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are.
You will see more Leica on my list. Let me put it.
They are sneaky, which is one of the greatest studios of all time.
Yes, they're doing great work. They've never made a bad movie, first of all. If I don't pick the Coraline for my horror movie, only because it's actually so terrifying. I don't want to watch it, and it's a kids movie, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that again. Yeah, my daughter watched it when she was like 6, and she was like, Dad, I don't ever want to see that again. And then like a couple weeks ago, she's like, Dad, I watched Coraline. I was like, why? She's like, I wanted to see if I could. I was like, how'd it go? She was like, it was better. I think I was okay. It's like, how is this happening? What is going on? All right. So those are my choices for thriller. Andy, I am so curious. The next genre is horror. Horror. What is your choice for a horror movie? Because by the way, to the uninitiated, Andy loves horror movies. I capital H hate them. So when we were doing Second Breakfast podcast on a regular basis, Andy used to assign me horror movies to watch. We called it Horror School. And Andy was the teacher and I was the student, and he would pick a movie that I had not seen and make me watch it. And then we'd talk about it. Yes. And so I have now seen a bunch of horror movies, and you'd be like, oh, and now you like them, right? No, I still hate them. I hate them a lot.
Sure.
But anyways, Andy, you love them. So I think this is going to be a very rich category for you.
I think so. I had to limit myself heavily.
Fair enough.
You will be perhaps surprised to learn there are no zombie movies in my nominees. None. I really, especially when I say this, I restricted myself because otherwise this category would be 17 hours long for me. I restricted myself to like really thinking about the quarantine aspect of this and those movies that make you feel claustrophobic. And still no zombie movies because, well, for many reasons. But The Descent. Women go spelunking and get trapped, and it's terrifying just because they get trapped, and then some things come out of the darkness, and it's a genuinely. I watched this movie in the middle of the day with one of my close friends, Coop, who talks during a movie, and we watched, and I was terrified, and that might have been the only way I could get through it, actually. Yes. Recordar.
Why did you bring that up?
Yeah, this movie Remember years ago, a
This is
kid
the
came out.
Spanish. This is the Spanish one, right?
Yes.
This is the zombie-ish outbreak in Spain that's done all with found footage or like the video
Yes, all
camera.
found footage.
You made me
all
watch this. It's horrifying.
Yes, inside an apartment
Oh,
building. Kids out there, you may not remember the time when Facebook made you start your statuses with the word is. So be it Phil Duvall is, Andy Roth is.
right.
I posted something along the lines of, I don't think I'll get this exactly right. Andy Roth is posting on Facebook so he can do something during the last few minutes of Rec other than freaking the hell out.
I remember that. I actually remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally, that is what I posted.
You called me after this and you were like, Phil, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
It very well might be the single scariest movie I've ever watched in my life. It is absolutely terrifying. Yes. Let's see. 28 days later.
Oh, it's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
I like how Andy said no zombie movies and then listed 2 movies that people normally consider zombie movies. Andy, however, does not consider either of these movies zombie movies.
Je suis whatever zombie purist is in French.
Je suis zombie puriste.
The Thing, because you can't get more socially isolated than Antarctica with an alien.
Oh, what a great choice, Andy.
Oh, it's so good. And Alien.
Yes. I was going to say, I think you can get more socially isolated than Antarctica with an alien. Space with an alien.
Where apparently I can hear you scream because, yes, it is, for those who don't know, the tagline was in space, no one can hear you scream. It is terrifying. It is wonderful. Sigourney Weaver.
It's the ultimate haunted house movie in a spaceship.
Yes,
absolutely. With
absolutely.
Sigourney Weaver, the best.
My winner, and indulge me because I have so much to say about this. Perhaps surprisingly, 28 days later, it is.
No, it's a. Go ahead, keep talking. But it is well chosen.
Just watched this movie. Just watched it. It's not because of like recency bias. It is a legitimately great movie. If you have seen it and all you remember are the truly terrifying parts with the infected running around, they are there. Those exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I am telling you, there is so much more that you don't. The acting, first off, the filmmaking, the digital video, the weird.
It's Danny Boyle, right?
Yes, it's Danny Boyle, sort of quote unquote slumming it in a horror movie. Like the weird
elevating.
Yeah, agreed. So it's one of the first mainstream movies that like it made a point of being on digital video. So it's got that weird grainy aspect to it that really lends itself. The weird directorial flourishes, like there's a scene where they're driving a car in a field and all the flowers in the field are painted instead of actually like it's just a beautiful shot. There's a bunch of the filmmaking is beautiful. The acting, there is so much warmth. Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris as the central pair. Brendan Gleeson is like the perfect dad. He is glorious. He is warm and loving, and he's strong without being hard. Thank God thank God, because of how the movie goes, nothing bad happens to any of these people. Christopher Eccleston as the leader of the Garrett, they like there's so much nuance in their performance.
But also it's just scary.
And also it's scary. It's scary, and it's scary through delivering the message, and this is why I picked it for this film festival.
Yeah.
If there is a message to the movie, it is live together, die alone. Like,
oh, Andy, good pick.
That is,
Andy, good pick.
And frankly, if I can be a little woke for a moment.
Oh, please.
The secondary message is like existing power structures will not save us, right?
Yeah.
We have to be the agents of our own salvation.
Good, well said. And it's 20 years old.
And it's 20 years old. So
it's making that statement. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, you've been woke. Go back to sleep now, Andy. Go back to sleep. You're done being woke for the day.
Done.
I picked Alien for all the reasons. It's terrifying. I don't like horror movies very much. I like Alien. I saw it when I was 13, even when I didn't like horror movies, and loved it even when I didn't like horror. Like I was like, I don't like these movies, but this is amazing.
It's
like, I just knew.
Genuinely good movie.
It's just everything. It's I mean, it's got to be, if it's not Ridley Scott's best movie, in my opinion, it's definitely it's probably his best movie. I mean, it's just
I've liked a lot of his movies, but it's streamlined, it's efficient, it's like
that's the thing. It's just so it's a movie where everything is working towards the same purpose.
Yes. Yes. There is not a
And it's in
frame.
the loneliness of this movie.
Yeah.
It is one of the most profoundly lonely movies, to the degree that you'd think people are all cooped up together in this spaceship, it might actually feel claustrophobic. Every single person, like it, they feel alone together. Like
That's
every,
so well said.
like they're not, like they don't feel like a team, even when they're laughing together. Like they all feel like they're just their own individual who's out in the space, and
yet,
they're all alone. All of them are all alone.
They do have that connection, right? The claustrophobia.
Yeah, they're not sociopaths.
Right. Everything you say is right. But what I think is interesting, what I think is interesting is that sense of claustrophobia doesn't kick in until the monster is running around, right? They are definitely alone together, but like
you don't realize how alone.
A little bit of solace that they get from each other.
There's no warmth. There's no real warmth in this movie.
That's true.
And you feel it. Space is right outside.
Cold. It's antiseptic. It's
bare. Which is Ridley Scott at his best. I mean, because I think that's right. But of course, Andy, if there's children around, I can't watch Alien.
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
But I can watch another Leica film, Paranorman.
Never seen it. No, I should have.
Kids zombie movie. Kids zombie movie. Andy.
I know.
I'm not even gonna say anything else about it.
That's great.
Other than it's really hard to find. I had to buy it.
Okay.
As part of a 4-pack of movies.
Oh my God.
On the Google Play app.
Nice.
Like couldn't watch it on Vudu, Hulu, Netflix, Prime even.
Sure.
I was like, this has to be somewhere. And they're like, oh, well, it's part of this 4-pack on Google Play. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I have Google Play. I'll do this. Now I own Paranorman, Coraline, Box Trolls, which is my actual favorite, and Kubo. I own all 4 of them.
I love it. Yeah. That's fantastic.
There are worse things to have happen to you in the service of. Right?
It's true.
See Paranorman, for goodness sake, Andy
Roth.
I
will. My experience that's closest to that is I wanted to own The Hunt for Red October, and which would have been a good choice for thriller, by the way. I wanted to own Hunt for Red October, and the only way I could find it was buying like a Sean Connery 3-pack. Yeah. I don't remember what the third movie was, but now I own the Presidio.
Oh wow!
I mean,
that's him and Mark Harmon.
Yes, well done. It's so funny. I was gonna say.
I remember the commercials from when I was a kid. I was like, I don't know what that is, but it looks scary.
Yeah.
What's a Presidio? And then like I went to San Francisco for the first time. They're like, and over here's the Presidio, and I was like, this is where it happened. What happened? I don't know. I never ended up seeing the movie, but this is where it happened.
And stuff.
Right. Andy, the next category is drama.
I'm going to move quickly through this because there are literally a billion ways I could have gone.
Yep.
My nominees. The Conversation, because literally there's never been a movie that is better at showing you going crazy over what might or might not be happening and who may or may not be listening in. Ever. Coppola at his best. Hackman at his best. It's a brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie. 25th Hour. 25th Hour. Sneaky, one of my favorite Spike.
You've always liked that movie. That's why movies have resonated with you more than with me. That's for sure.
Yes. Cool Hand Luke. Always in my top 5 movies of all time.
Yep.
Paul Newman at his very best. George Kennedy, just brilliant. Nobody can eat 50 eggs. Ikiru.
50 eggs.
Ikiru. Kurosawa movie, Japanese movie, black and white.
Ikiru, which I own because of you and have never watched.
The entire plot of the movie is a middle management bureaucrat finds out he has 6 months to live because he has stomach cancer, and he tries to push through bureaucratic red tape to build a playground. That is the entire movie. It is more than 2 hours long. It is utterly engrossing, and by the end, I am crying so hard I am not even human. Spoilers, that's it, right? Like, that's the entire movie.
Gee, I wonder why I haven't found time to watch this yet.
But it is so good.
No, I don't. It's
so
Kurosawa.
Good. No, but it's
Kurosawa's worst movie is still more interesting than anything.
That's true.
Like this is my like artsy fartsy hill to die on. Kurosawa is ridiculous. Like like every one of his movies, I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep,
I'm going to
Yep.
save my winner for last. Lost in Translation.
great.
Lost in Translation. The feel of the movie spoke to me as I was doing this. Room, because Brie Larson is the truth,
Oh,
and
jeez, Brie Larson is the truth.
and Jacob Tremblay is the truth.
Was it 2 years in a row? Was it Short Term 12 and then Room the next year?
I don't remember if it was the next year, but it was like 2 out of 3 at max. It's just
For those two movies alone, she will be remembered for the rest of our lives,
yes,
regardless of anything
and
else.
I will see every movie she does, every single movie
Yes.
because of those.
Yes. Yes.
Sideways, Paul Giamatti,
Oh, buddy.
Drinking Wine.
Paul Giamatti. I wish it said that on the poster. Paul Giamatti, drinking wine. It's a hard movie for me.
By the way.
That's a hard movie for me.
Okay.
It's good. It's great. It's great. It's a great movie. It's a hard movie for me.
The Station Agent, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, come on.
I mean, Bobby Cannavale, just Michelle.
Bobby Cannavale.
Like everyone, Patricia Clarkson.
Has there ever been an actor who, like, I can think of one now that I'm asking the question, but that's okay. Has there ever been an actor who looked more like a caricature and shouldn't be good, and then ends up being one of the most brilliant human, like, actors than Bobby Cannavale?
I mean,
he looks like a sort of like over like if someone had to like draw an Italian, but a gorgeous Italian stereotype, and okay, someone go draw a macho Italian man.
Yes.
And you'd be like, oh, here's Bobby Cannavale, and he plays sort of riffs on that sometimes.
But he also
like if you met him in college, you wouldn't want to be his friend because you'd be like, he's too cool, he's a jock, he's one of those things, right. And you and I are like little men who are like, well, I've got no interest.
Prodigiously talented.
And then he's got to be a beautiful soul.
Yeah. Yes.
He's got to be.
Yes.
What he does in every movie. And Station Agent's a great example of that. Sorry for the Bobby Cannavale exorcist, but
I will never interrupt a Bobby Cannavale riff. Just a nod to the fact that we're stuck here for a while. Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, because it's great and it's 4 hours long. But my winner in drama, The Gray.
Oh, wow.
Liam Neeson.
Drama as opposed to action, thriller, horror.
It could be everything.
I know. Monster movie.
But it is Liam Neeson and friends getting chased through the wilderness, the Yukon or something, by a pack of wolves. It is gory. It is.
I've only seen it once, and I can't stop thinking about it.
It will not let me go. I watch it occasionally because I cannot watch it all the time. It shatters me. It is a movie about men.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 movies where I've ever seen actually do what I'm about to say, and I don't know why. One of them came out last year, and it was only the second movie I can think of that did this. The Gray was the first, where very early on in the movie, someone starts to gets killed, like hurt, wounded.
You're watching them die.
And they look up at the person and they go, am I dying? And of course, in every movie you and I watch, no, buddy, you're going to be fine. Just stay alive. Stay awake. You got this. Help's coming. Am I dying? And Liam Neeson's character says, yes, you're dying. And then guides him into his death. And it's one of the most heartbreaking, beautiful, gorgeous things I've ever seen.
It is a movie about man-eating wolves chasing the guy from Taken.
And it's a soulful, beautiful, like, spiritual movie.
Yes.
It's an existential drama.
It wrestles with like the existence and nature of God. It wrestles with death in a real way.
I love it. And again, there's that loneliness in it and all of that. Andy, this is a great choice.
Rex.
It should.
That's there you go.
Oh, it's also a movie that was tried. They tried to sell it as like, you know how like there was the Taken, like the genre that Liam Neeson like single-handedly upholds, which is like the man, like the one-man army taking revenge against people and taking them all down. Yep. They tried to sell the movie as like Taken with wolves.
Right. Yes.
It's not at all. It's not at all.
That was a bad call. Yeah.
I initially wrote down Searching for Bobby Fischer because I own it and it's one of my favorite dramas of all time.
I love it.
It's not the movie I chose. This is the Quarantine Film Fest. So when I realized that we were going to be quarantined, I realized I didn't own, and I ended up going on and buying one of those digital 3-pack Blu-rays because it was the only way to buy
Is it Presidio?
The Aviator.
Oh, I love it.
So here I am, a week into quarantine, home by myself by chance because the kids are outside. My wife's, I think, either asleep or she went to her studio. One kid's asleep. But I basically said to them, I need space. Just so hard to come by when you're locked together.
Yeah.
So I got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a movie about Howard Hughes, who had many issues. But one of them was OCD was part of it. And I remembered, like, because of the emphasis on hand washing that's been going on, there's a scene in the movie where he washes his hands till they bleed. And I love this movie. I have a poster of this movie. I think it's a really underrated movie, in the sense that people don't generally talk about it. When you start to list Scorsese movies, it's not people. People are like Raging Bull, Casino,
Yep.
Goodfellas, etc. And I think Aviator is one of the most magnificent movies that he's ever made. So I bought it, and so I'm alone watching it a week into quarantine. I'm wearing clothes. I haven't showered in 3 days. The first scene, he's like an 8-year-old boy or 7-year-old boy or something, standing naked in like a wash basin because he's born in like 1904 or something like that.
Sure.
I mean, it's like turn of the century America, 1900s, which I've said to you before is the worst time in history.
But
and,
you love Mrs.
And
Sophie.
easily the most boring.
Mm.
Mrs. Sophie is the worst film I've ever seen. That's not true because I've seen Joel Schumacher movies. Mrs. Sophie. I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now. The only way Batman and Robin could have been a worse movie is if it was made in turn of the century.
Makes sense.
And so and he's standing there, and his mom is like washing him. And it's like by this weird firelight and all this. And you don't know what he's saying at first. He's spelling something. QUARANTINE. Quarantine. Andy, I started No, not yet. I started to cry a little bit. Just a little. Like tears coming down. And the mom looks at him and she says, "You are not safe." And I just exploded.
Oh my God.
Right? Like all of it, right? So then, anyways, I won't talk about the rest of my experience of that movie today. The Aviator's a drama. It's one of the most thrilling movies. It's got some of my favorite performances. Katharine Hepburn being played by Cate Blanchett. So one of the best actresses of all time being played by one of the best actresses of all time. But Kate Beckinsale as Ava Gardner. Tom C. Reilly just showing up because why not? And all sorts of people like that just show up. Ian Holmes in it like just cause, really, genuinely just cause, I think.
Sure.
But it's and Leonardo DiCaprio is one of those guys that we like. As much credit as he gets, he doesn't get enough credit for what he's capable of doing. And Scorsese, to his credit, saw it early on and has been using him to prove what he's capable of, and using him as a muse, or used him as a muse for 10 years, and it was amazing. So that's my choice. The Aviator, heartbreaking, stunning, glorious, funny, sad, all the stuff. But of course, Andy, if my kids are in the room, I can't watch The Aviator. But we can watch Inside Out. Is it a drama? For the purpose of this conversation, it is, because it's got some of the most dramatic moments and deals so clearly and honestly with emotion and sadness.
I mean, it would fit in every genre.
It's like Princess Bride. Pick a genre.
Yeah. Yes.
I have chosen it for this genre today.
I love it.
Literally, Western is the only genre I couldn't choose it for.
Right. I love something that I love about the very best of Pixar, which is much of Pixar, is that there are various ways for a movie that is for kids to not just be for kids. And the way that Pixar usually does it is by not ever talking down to the kids, knowing that some stuff will go over their heads.
Yeah.
But never talking down to them, not saying like, check out for the next couple minutes, kids. We're gonna do some like innuendo-laced jokes. Like it's never.
And that's actually one of the reasons why that has been really influential on me in terms of what movies I show my children, because I'm realizing if they don't get it, that's actually not my primary concern. Because if they're entertained, then eventually they'll get it.
They'll come back. They're going to come back to it.
And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this was going on when I was a kid.
I love it.
And I loved that movie. So I'm perfectly on board with that. Our next category is, oh my gosh, we have so many categories, Andy.
This will be a two-parter, guys. This is going to be a two-parter.
This is going to be a two-parter. That frees me up a little bit. Good. Let's talk for another hour about this one category. Kidding. Science fiction, Andy. Science fiction, Andy.
Phil.
Andy.
Philip.
Science fiction.
Philip Hart Duvall. Okay.
Oh gosh, just pick 2001 and call it a day. I don't want to hear it.
Nope, not even one of my nominees.
Phew, because golly.
Right. Look, guys, if you haven't seen 2001, go ahead and watch it. It's clearly one of the like quote unquote greatest movies for me. A little bit like taking my medicine. You know, it's just
you and I are very similar about this movie, and I should feel guilty about it. That's all. Anyways,
guilty.
Moving right.
No
right.
guilty feelings.
I know.
Mad Max.
Ooh.
The Road Warrior.
Oh.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh.
Sensing a theme? Look, I love me some post-apocalyptic.
The winner better not be Thunderdome.
It's not.
We're gonna have words, you and I.
I know it is. It is not. It is Captain Walker. It is not. And I'm gonna throw you a curveball. My winner.
Yeah.
The final movie.
Yeah.
In the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy.
Oh, The World's End.
Yes.
Andy.
This movie is
chosen.
Thank you. It is as delightfully inventive as you.
It's totally science fiction.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks, buddy.
It is. Wouldn't
have even thought of that.
I don't want to say too much about why it's science fiction, but just know that it is. Because I want you to watch it. I want you to watch it fresh if you have never seen it. It is as inventive as you would want a movie from Edgar Wright, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg to be. It just is. But there is a maturity in this movie that is not present in Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead. And I love those two movies. That's just not the point. The point of this movie is about growing older and realizing that you are not the person you want to be because you have not grown up. Mm-hmm. And really dealing with that. And that makes it sound like a slog. It is unbelievably fun to watch. Yeah. It is unbelievably fun to watch. And it is
science fiction.
And it is science fiction.
I mean, the neat thing about the Frost Pegg movies is their whole thing is they do comedic versions of genre. They take on a genre.
Yes.
But they understand the tropes of the genre and they respect the tropes of the genre.
Yes.
It's never too winky, nudge, nudge. Like it's never too ironic. There's a sincere appreciation of and adherence to the genre.
Drive me crazy when they talk about these movies as a zombie.
They're not, or parodies. It's not a spoof at all, or a parody.
Yes, right. Yes.
People are idiots.
Absolutely. There you go. World's End.
Science fiction. Andy.
Yes.
The Matrix.
Ooh.
Yeah. Almost made my category in 3 different categories. I knew it was going to get picked for this.
I have no excuse. I didn't even think of it.
It was almost my action pick. But I'll tell you what, like this is a movie that I'm annoyed that my kids aren't old enough to watch.
Sure. Right.
Because it's The Matrix.
Yes.
And I'm not a big science fiction guy. So I don't have a lot of movies that would fit this category. I hadn't thought of World's End. I don't own it anyway, but I was like, I had a hard time. I was like, I own the J.J. Abrams Star Trek for some reason. It's not bad. It's fine. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Andy, sadly, and I mean sadly, if my kids are in the room,
You're not watching The Matrix.
we're not watching The Matrix, Andy.
That's for darn sure.
And this is another category where I'm not sure I have a science fiction movie for children. And that might be on me.
Barbarella.
What's the one of Sean Connery wearing the bikini?
Oh,
Xandar, something like that.
or whatever. Parents out there who don't know what I'm talking about, please do not show your kids Barbarella. Please do not.
Please do not show your kids Barbarella.
Do not.
Please do not. Show
Mostly because it's not good, but also.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I didn't write it down. I totally have a pick for this.
Oh.
For kids.
Go.
Wall-E. I'm telling you.
Coming through in the clutch.
If you think I'm not coming through with cartoons for every genre,
oh yeah.
Once Pixar makes a Western, I'll be all set.
Yep.
Although I haven't relied solely on Pixar so far.
That's true. That's true.
Thanks to Laika.
Thank you, Laika, for so many reasons.
Science fiction, Wall-E, phenomenal. I mean, it might be my favorite science fiction movie of all time, actually.
It's a perfect movie.
And again, people who can't get off their roving automated couches while they're watching their screens, gaining all sorts of ungodly amounts of weight while being stuck in some kind of quarantine because of what they've done to the earth. Nope, don't see any connection. Anyways, moving right along.
Right. God, thank goodness we're not living that.
Thank God that's not relevant.
Yeah. Whew. Dodge an apocalyptic bullet there. Okay.
Sweet Lord. The next category is not science fiction, Andy. It's science fantasy.
All right.
Sounds a little adulty.
Yeah, it does. It does. Here's the deal. I could only think of two. Okay.
Of course.
I don't own Flash Gordon, and I wouldn't pick it if I did over Star Wars.
Of course.
The answer is Star Wars.
Is there a specific Star Wars that you've chosen, Andy?
It's the first one. A New Hope, episode 4.
It's a lovely choice.
Yes.
It's a lovely choice, Andy.
I think I know which one you're going to go with because I'm just gonna guess you've gone Star Wars too.
Oh, I went Star Wars with a bullet, with a taser.
I love it.
Which one did I choose?
I'm gonna guess. Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
You are correct, sir. The Last Jedi.
Wait.
My favorite Star Wars movie.
Let us
Phil, do you hate Star Wars? No, in fact, I love it. But Phil, you must not like the originals if your favorite is The Last Jedi. No, in fact, I love the originals. They were my first movies and I care about them deeply. And my favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi.
We need to pause for a moment and pour one out for second breakfast homie John Strohmeyer, a gentleman I went to high school with, who is probably really angry right now. And John, the beauty of the Second Breakfast podcast community is we welcome all kinds here, even those such as yourself who are wrong. Phil, please continue.
I thought you were going to say, John, we don't care.
No, we don't.
Okay.
That is true. That is accurate.
Like, oh, someone's angry that I like a thing? That's a weird thing to be angry about. Like, I'm not even saying it's the best, although it's clearly the best Star Wars movie. What I am saying is, like, it's clearly my favorite. And so it's funny. It's like someone's like, I'm angry. Or no, I'll be like, that's my favorite movie. And someone will be like, you're wrong. And I'll be like,
I'm not.
Well, I can't be wrong about what my favorite thing is. It's certainly my favorite. You don't get to decide what happens in this crazy place here called my brain.
It's not that you're wrong. It's that you're announcing to the world that you're a beta cuck who...
You know what's so funny? You introduced that phrase to me and I had to look it up and then I got immediately grossed out. And then, even now, even though I know you're joking, every time you say it, something inside of me wants to die.
Oh,
because
no.
I know that there are people who actually, that's a thing.
Right. Yes.
And I can't
Yes.
Like, I know that there are men out there who think like this, and it's so far from the way I understand my own manhood and my own humanhood that I just, when you say it, something inside of me dies.
As long as you die because other people are doing it, not because any part of you thinks I'm actually serious.
Andy, if I'm in my house watching Star Wars: The Last Jedi, though, and the kids come in the room, Andy, Last Jedi stays on. Yes,
Hey-o!
It's the first movie that fits both categories.
I love it.
You're welcome.
In
fact, my daughter the other day was like, we haven't watched Last Jedi in a while. And I was like, on it.
Paige,
and
sorry.
Do you know what Rose's sister's name is that dies in the first scene?
Is it Paige?
It is Paige.
I love it.
And she loves it. She's like, she's named after me. She saves the day.
Love.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
great. It's great. I want to watch. We might watch it today after this conversation. Okay. Moving right along, Andy, to comedy.
Much like genre, much like drama, I could
Much like genre. Word, thing stuff.
Much like drama, you could go a billion different directions here. So I'll just zoom through these. Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Away We Go. Away
Mm.
We Go. A contemplative comedy with John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph. It's just lovely. It's lovely.
It's great.
Rushmore.
Of course. Yeah, sure.
Always one of my two favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
Blazing Saddles.
Yep.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Quick Change.
Oh, Andy. You look at you.
Yep.
I feel like I take a little credit for that one.
You do. You 100% do. You introduced me to that movie.
Because I made it, you guys. No, because I told people to watch this movie. And
it's true. He did, and I did, and I'm grateful. And the last nominee, Young Frankenstein.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a murderer's row.
It's true. It's true. 27 Yankees right there.
And the winner is?
I'm going to go with Quick Change.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Look, this situation that we're in, we can feel trapped in a maze with no way out, and we might as well laugh about it, or we're going to go freaking insane.
Quick Change, people. And
Quick Change really, really, really captures that from both perspectives, from the perspective of Bill Murray and Randy Quaid and Gene Davis, and also from Jason Robards, who is an underrated part of that movie.
Yeah.
As the cop,
because he's the only sane person in the whole police force, and maybe in the whole movie.
It's true.
And he's just like, how am I surrounded by this? I did not appreciate Jason Robards enough as a child, which is like something I'll need to talk to my therapist about later.
Without knowing how much you appreciated him, I know that that's true, because I don't think it's possible to appreciate him enough.
Andy, I didn't pick Groundhog Day only because I don't own it.
Okay.
That's on me, by the way. That's on me.
My decision was between those two, as much as other phrases.
I could, if I had to choose that or Parenthood, and I don't own either of them, which is absurd. I have nothing to say about it other than I'm sorry to the world. My comedy choice is Raising Arizona.
Oh,
it's the movie that introduced me to the Coens, that introduced me to Nick Cage, that introduced me to Holly Hunter, that introduced me to John Goodman.
Wait. I don't just love that choice. I love it.
We got a baby now. Things have changed. Now that when you have a kid, you got to watch this movie.
Oh my God.
The whole scene, the interrogation scene when the cops are talking to Nathan Arizona, and then when the reporters are asking questions. And the reporters are like, there have been rumors of an alien abduction. Son, please don't print that. If the wife reads that, she's just bound to lose all hope. It's so funny. Like it's so funny. And I love the Coens. I mean, I could pick Intolerable Cruelty, which is a very underrated movie by theirs in this category. I could pick anytime they make a Lebowski, obviously, is one that I love and everybody with a brain loves. But it's Raising Arizona. But my kids are not prepared. Although I saw Raising Arizona when I was my daughter's age, which speaks more to what was going on in my house than it does.
Yeah.
But if my kids are in the room, Andy, we're not going to watch Raising Arizona.
No, you're not.
We are going to watch Three Amigos, though. When my daughter, who's now 9, was 7 and looking at me and saying, "Can I have your watch when you are dead?" I was like, Parent of the Year.
Again, guys, if you didn't know that Phil is going to be my model for parenting, this is why.
Our kids are definitely going to get arrested together. And that's important. Because togetherness is what it's all about.
It's true. I think that this next category should be where we end or pause this discussion after this next category. Sound good?
I want to say one last thing for comedy before we do.
Please do.
The only reason I didn't choose what I'm about to say is that it's not technically a movie and I don't technically own it, which means it doesn't fit either of these categories.
Sure.
The comedy that has been the most impactful to me in the last 2 months has been a stand-up routine by a stand-up comedian named Tom Papa. It's on Netflix and it's called You're Doing Great. I have watched it somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 times from beginning to end in the last 2 months. It is not only the funniest stand-up routine I've seen in a decade, it is the one that I think is speaks the most directly to so much of my own stuff, and so much of our cultural stuff just seems like such an imprecise word, but our cultural neuroses and our cultural fears and trepidations and our obsessions and preoccupations, which is what I mean by stuff, and does so in the most simple, like it is not overly sophisticated comedy. It's a very simple and accessible comedic act that absolutely speaks right to you right now. And of course it's called You're Doing Great. And it's just exactly what you probably need to hear right now, wherever you are.
I will echo this. This is another thing that Phil introduced me to. And I will say definitively, the thing that got me to watch it that he told me was, you think about stand-up comedy, you think about stand-up comedians, you think about titling things, and that You're Doing Great could sound sarcastic. It's not.
It's not. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was totally going to be. I didn't know him. I didn't know any of his stuff. I know that he's on NPR. I know he's on this, that, and the other stuff. I don't know him. Yep. I literally was by myself and was like, so many of the shows I watch with my wife. And so very rarely is there, I'll try things. I'll try stand up when she's not in the room, because I'm like, we'll see if this person's any funny. I'm not going to subject her to something if it's not any good.
Yeah, right.
I was half hour into it. She came home and I was like, I'm starting this over again. We're watching it together. Within the first 5 minutes, I was sold. Didn't know who the guy was. 30 seconds in, I was like, okay, maybe we'll see. 2 minutes in, I was laughing. And then by 5 minutes in, I was like almost in tears, because I was so like it was like a nourishment.
That's well said. I agree.
It's nourishing comedy. It's not the kind of comedy where you laugh and then you feel empty afterwards. It's the kind of comedy where you feel like somebody's given you a gift.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So we're gonna stop.
Do you want to do one more? You want to do musicals? Because people might want to see musicals.
People want to see everything we're gonna do. We're gonna come back.
I mean, that's true.
I think we stop.
Well, now we're in a fight. But he's right. He's right.
It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's right.
With us fighting. We'll screw you.
Pick for musical is
avenge my death. And we've got Andy, and we've got other things I want to talk about when we come back.
We have so much. There's so much. It's almost like we were gone away for years, and people gave us a lot of questions that we all liked. We liked all of them, and we want to get to all of them. It's almost like that. Don't forget, Phil has his paper.
I'm reading off a paper.
So I know for a fact that you're going to see the next episode release soon, because I'm not going to make this episode until we've already filmed the other one. So don't worry that we're going away for another several years. You will see it soon. Might not be when this is live. We may not release them together, but there you go.
We'll see.
We will see. We're excited to be back. We make, other than the rest of this podcast, we make literally zero promises that we will be able to continue this.
That is accurate.
But we're really glad to be doing it now.
That's true.
Okay.
Andy.
Yes.
Always a pleasure.
It is always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. So again, guys, if you want to see more of this, we could use the material. So send us questions. You can send us questions on Facebook. You can find us at Second Breakfast Podcast on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also email us at secondbreakfastpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can just reach out to us, because chances are you know one of us personally. And yeah, we will see you again real soon. I am Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall. We are Second Breakfast. Stay safe and healthy, everybody.
Bye, guys.
The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.